In this video, I would like to share an interesting story behind a set of books that I received from a generous person on YouTube who sent me some books from Pastor Paul Ricca, who is the head of Holiness Revival Movement worldwide, out of Nigeria. Now, I have read some of Pastor Ricca's books, but they were in PDF format, and I was unable to locate any locally. And although some were available overseas, but it didn't really fit into my budget at the time. But there was a young lady named Yami who's located in the United States, and she said she would send me some, although I discouraged her because, you know, I had already read it and I encouraged her to send it to someone else. She still had it set in her heart that when she would go to Nigeria this last December 2015. I'm doing this at the time of the summer of 2016. She was going to obtain some to give to me. Now, Yami actually was doing this as a mission work for people. She was very generous, sending it to other people as well. Well, there's something a little different that happened in the delivery of the set of books that she sent me, that I was to learn later had not happened to the other people who had received books from her. But in January of this year, I received in the mail the long-awaited package that she had sent to me. It was soft a paper package, the kind that it's filled with like a little cardboard crumbly stuff that like padding inside. But that wasn't the point. The thing was, when I got the package, and I actually found it was on the table where I was at. Someone set the mail for me there. I saw that on the lower right hand corner of the package was bloodstains. I'm not talking about a little bit of bloodstains. I'm talking about the size of a bunch of grapes, probably about 1/4 of the package, and the package was large enough to hold the books. Now, these were the books that Yami sent me of Pastor Paul Ricca. Delightful Revelations of Heaven was one of the how to get there. Scriptural Exposition on Believers' Holiness, Clothing, and Adornment, which I had read, and I really liked it. Visions and Activities of Holiness Revival Movement. Contending Against Denominational Barriers, and Purify Yourself. An excellent book. And it really appeared like there was like a heated struggle against this package, that it drew blood. I mean, like a blood that covered the palm of the hand of the person holding the package, and it was just palmed all over there. Now, having worked years ago in the early 90s in a hospital, and I worked in a laboratory where I had more than one position there, but I was at the time a clerk receiving the specimens. I was educated in really the dangers of handling anything that does have blood. And when I saw the package that had the large blood stain, I was concerned, and I immediately disposed of it, not having any idea of the story behind it. Of course, I regret that I did not photograph it because it was very dramatic. And so I then wanted to ask, before I jumped to any conclusions, I wanted to ask Yami, did she injure herself? Because she actually had to go to Nigeria to get the books, and what was this? What was the story about the package being covered with the blood? And I know that the enemy doesn't want us to get our hands on things having to do with holiness and undiluted truth. And but I didn't want to read into something that wasn't there. Well, apparently the devil really didn't want the story to come out. Perhaps so that I wouldn't share the story here and help to get more word out about Pastor Rika's books, or to speak of Pastor Rika, or to further study about the holiness and holiness revival movement. Because when I sent the letter to Yami using the return address that was on the envelope, what I last expected was a month later that letter came right back to me. And I actually emailed Yami. I was concerned. I said, Yami, did you give me the correct address? Because you have to be careful, because you have to use your true address. You have to get into heaven. It's very serious. The things that we don't think about, like using a false name, using a wrong address, all these things that normally you don't think about can actually be held against you as a lie. And however, I know the enemy also wants to stir conflicts and evil suspicions amongst brethren and people in general, so that we'll stumble in sin. But she let me know that had been her address, but she never got the package, because the package was returned to me as unknown individual. And what had happened is I went ahead and I sent it again using her married name, and it was then delivered to her. It was about 2 months later, and then when she read what I wrote, she told me that when she sent the package did not have blood on it. It was just normal package. So when she sent that package to me, and when I don't know where she sent it from, but I assumed it was when she was in her, where she lives in the USA. In that traveling to me was where this scuffle happened, and this fight took place, or this injury took place, that led to the package being having palm prints of blood on it. And Yami told me she had sent packages to other people, and but no one reported such a thing. So here I encountered two things. First of all, the mysterious story behind the struggle that obviously happened, some kind of drama that happened to try to keep that package from getting delivered, it appeared. And then also the stumbling block that was put for even to correspond to Yami, for her even to see the story. What had happened was her mailman who had known her for a while, had simply just marked the letter to her without even delivering it to her, which is not standard fare for mail delivery, because I had myself worked as a mail carrier, and basically the rules are, you deliver something first. You don't filter something without delivering it. So that was the very kind of interesting story behind my getting this book, is that the devil worked hard to try somehow to prevent them from getting to me. But God prevailed. God prevailed in every way. It piques my interest that there was some kind of difficulty that led to someone getting injured and delivering a package to me that was bloody. It piques my interest that the enemy tries to cause some kind of issue that would lead to some violence in the delivery process towards me, that would have someone who was a carrier of that package, to actually leave blood on it. It piqued my interest enough to want to pay more attention to Pastor Rika's books, and to try to fulfill whatever it is that the enemy is trying to prevent from coming into my hands. Whatever it is having to do with the things of God that the enemy is so concerned, so wanting to derail. And that is really one of the motivating reasons why I even want to talk about it. Even though it isn't a tremendous story, it is something where in this particular case, in another scuffle, the enemy was thwarted. The books did come to my hand. They all arrived well, and now I will dedicate myself to try to unlock and follow through with a thing that had the enemy so concerned that they would even lead to such a situation that would cause someone handling the package to carry it with bloody palm and let it continue through. I was a mail carrier. I was a mail carrier myself. And I can tell you it would be a very unusual situation where I would have been injured, or my hands would have been covered with some blood, to be able to, and that would lead me to deliver such a package. It would have to have been some kind of drama that took place, some kind of fight that took place. Maybe the person even just fell or stumbled or something, which of course would be enemy inspired. But you know, for instance, here is this book. If I can get it up in the camera. And the package was a bit bigger than the soft package, and you put the package this way, if I can get over here, and really the blood stain went like about this large. This large. It was a palming of a clear blood. In fact, my mother was there, and I showed her. I said, "Look, this thing has got blood all on it." Now, I recognized the blood, but even to my mother, who had not worked in a hospital, it was obvious that what was on the package was blood from somebody. That's why I discarded it, and quite a bit. Not that it was deep red, but you know, somebody had a bloody palm, bloody hand, and it led to the idea that someone was struggling with this package, struggling somehow, holding it, and so it's a very interesting and curious situation behind the delivery process of my getting these books into my hands. And I have to say, although I have read a couple of them before, I was refreshed and built up again on the holiness, that I even had some inspiration in some things that I wrote and did. And of course, this is the foundation, that the highway that I now tread upon. So I just wanted to share this this curious, mysterious situation and the drama that happened, where once again the scuffle the enemy tried to do to prevent a set of books to come to a Christian did not prevail. But the Lord's will prevailed. And I am looking forward to seeing the fruition of the plan that the enemy was trying to usurp based on these books getting into my hands.